start by doing a quick poll. So how many of you guys are interested in seeing a change in this economy? And how many of you guys are interested in seeing our country's debt improve by a little bit? All right. And how many of you guys heard about the immigration reform or know anything about it? Okay. So today I'm going to be speaking about the immigration reform, what it is, who it targets, and I'm going to be speaking about how it can help boost our economy. And lastly, I'm going to speak about the consequences of not passing this reform. So I'm going to start off by speaking about what the immigration reform is and who it targets. The immigration reform is a pathway to giving illegal migrant citizenship in the U.S. There are also circumstances for these immigrants who want citizenships, which I'm going to speak about later in the speech. So the immigration reform targets 12 to 20 million undocumented migrants and undocumented workers in the States. The number of immigrants has increased since the 1990s tremendously. Since the reform has not been passed, the annual Border Patrol has been raised by 14%. So money-wise, this means Border Patrol has went from $326 million to $2.7 billion, which is obviously putting a big hole in our debt in this country. And it's still not stopping these migrants from entering, so it's kind of a waste. You guys are probably wondering how these immigrants have entered this country legally with the since the Border Patrol is so high. Well, migrants have crossed the border between the U.S. and Mexico or have entered the states illegally or overstayed their visa. And for those of you who are not familiar about visas, it is endorsement on a passport indicating that the holder is allowed to enter and leave and stay in this country for a specific amount of time, but afterward they must leave. Some people just overstay it. So, secondly, I'm going to talk about what the immigration reform does. Illegal immigrants in our country will be given the opportunity to become citizens under these specific circumstances. If the reform is passed over the course of 10 years, illegal aliens will have a background check, pay taxes, pay a penalty to become a citizen, and be forced to learn how to speak English if they do not do so. So now I'm going to speak about how the immigration reform will benefit our economy. So the immigration reform will increase the United States gross domestic product, also known as the GDP, by $1.5 million in the span of 10 years. The reform will raise wages for both native-born workers and newly legalized immigrants. Immigrants spur the economy by starting new businesses and contribute more to the United States innovation than actual native-born workers. So, by reforming the immigration policy, America could be in a stronger demographic than Europe, Japan, and China. By demographic, I mean population. Fixing the legal immigration reduces bureaucracy and attacks highly skilled entrepreneurs, which help create and grow our economy. So, I wanted to share what President Obama said in one of his very recent speeches that was actually held yesterday, February 13th in the morning. He stated that our economy is stronger when we harness the talents and ingenuity of the striving, hopeful immigrants. I thought that was interesting, that's why I quoted him. So now I'm going to speak about if this reform is not passed, what are the consequences? So the government will make the action of mass deportation. Mass deportation is the deportation of all illegal immigrants in the States. So the government will deport more than 4 million illegal aliens and their dependents. And by dependents, it's basically just their family, friends, or support system. If they're here legally, the government's going to make sure to deport all of them. So due to this mass deportation, the United States GDP, or gross domestic product, will be reduced by 1.46% annually, amounting to $2.6 trillion lost in GDP yearly due to this mass deportation. Also, California will lose 3.6 million jobs, and the economy will shrink by 300 to 2 billion people. And LA County would lose $1.3 billion. Due to the mass deportation, Arizona's mass would add up to 58,000 lost jobs and 48.8 billion of the state's contraction. So, going back to the speech that President Obama said yesterday, he stated that if he was sent a comprehensive immigration reform bill in the next few months, that he would sign it right away. So I think it's great to know that President Obama is actually for this reform. So in the end, the immigration reform will benefit our economy and create more jobs. So I hope that I've informed you about this topic if you guys were not aware. And the next time you hear about the immigration reform, you're going to be for it and know a little bit more about it and help these immigrants take part in the American dream. Thanks, guys.